Okay. Good afternoon. My name is John Davis and I'm Chief Executive of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association UK, CPA UK. And I'm very pleased to have with me on the line Dr. Lisa Cameron MP. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you.
Very good to have you with us, and thanks for your time this afternoon. We're obviously speaking to a range of members about their experience of this period of COVID restrictions and how Parliament and MPs are reacting to that. Conscious that you have a constituency which the distance between you and Westminster is very considerable. Just wonder how the new restrictions have been affecting you in that sense.
Yeah, it's been really important to keep in constant contact with my staff at Westminster as well. They're working from home now, so we've been trying to make sure that they're up and running from home in relation to constituency work, because although I haven't been at Westminster, I have been absolutely inundated by inquiries from people who are really struggling in relation to the new business supports for employees, knowing how to apply for things, how it impacts upon their future career, how it impacts upon their health, when to get tested. So many questions that we really have needed to be up and running from the start. So that's been very important, and to use technology to do that has actually worked very well so far. And I feel that we've managed to keep in touch with people in the constituency and with staff at Westminster, and to keep the dialogue going and support as many people as possible.
Well, that's great. And meanwhile, I'm assuming you're in the constituency and therefore, and not having to travel back up and down to London at the moment, which I guess is a positive.
It is a positive. I have to say, I'm doing a lot more. Well, I have young children as well, so I'm juggling homeschooling as well as my work, and really it's been good teamwork, I think, between myself and my husband, and the kids as well, on board with trying to do that flexibly during the day when different demands come in. So yeah, I've not been able to entirely focus the whole day on parliamentary work. I've had to do some in the evening, etc., to focus on some homeschooling during the day. But that's just the same for families right across the UK just now. So, we're all doing the same things. We're all juggling all the different things.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Totally understand the impact on people, yeah.
No, I'm sure. I think one thing you were involved with earlier this week was, I know you spoke on a subject which is important to you. I know in the domestic abuse bill, and you were involved in that debate. Were you down in the chamber, or were you in the constituency, or how did you participate, and how was it?
It was my first virtual debate. So I went up to that, I think. So I was quite anxious about it beforehand, but I have to say the job, and even for people like myself who technically are not very advanced, they managed to smoothline it and make it extremely straightforward, and I can't thank them enough for that. It was an excellent debate as well, with many MPs cross-party taking part. So it's good to see Parliament back up and running, in the way that we can have questions, debate, scrutinise government. I think that's so important, particularly just now, and digital services have been at the forefront of making that happen.
No, it has been impressive. I agree. So the technology seemed to work quite well for that. Are there elements, though, you think were lost from the debate in any way?
Well, yeah, because I suppose in other ways you may not always be called to speak in a debate. So very many people put down to speak in that debate. It was tremendously important. But only so many people were able to be called. And normally in that circumstance, as an MP, you could go into the chamber and make an intervention or listen to the debate, etc., and be involved in the chamber and make to on behalf of your constituents. So that's missing, that involvement. And I think we probably feel a bit more detached when we're not called for parliamentary questions as well, because there's not the opportunity to stand up and perhaps catch the Speaker's eye as there would be in normal proceedings, because you're at home and you can't catch the Speaker's eye from there.
Through that. And do you think it's affecting you? I mean, you represent Scottish National Party and obviously a big party, but not one of either the governing party or the principal opposition party in Westminster. Do you think that's affecting, is there a particular sort of take on it that you have as in that sense?
I don't think so. I've just tried to really represent the concerns of my constituents, and I think most MPs will be doing that no matter which party they're from. I have to say I've really been doing a lot more work with party parliamentary groups that I chair. So I chair the Health APPG, and we've been doing a tremendous amount of work. Have Zoom meetings every week with experts speaking about COVID-19 from all different perspectives, and this week from patients' perspectives. So we're really trying to keep other MPs informed and to continue that cross-party work, which I think is so valuable, and which I think it's really important that continues whilst we're all in seclusion at home, that we make use of technology to make that happen.
Yes, that's interesting. That's possibly a less visible or a less broadly publicly visible side of Parliament's work, which is good to hear. That's still going on, because I know that's where a lot of the sort of detailed discussion with experts happen. Obviously, committees, the formal committees, are another part of that. Have you been involved in any of the virtual select committee hearings in the past few weeks?
Not yet. I'm going to be on the Ecclesiastical Committee this time, which is a joint committee between the Commons and the Lords, but it hasn't met as yet, so we're waiting for that to be convened in terms of first meetings. So really been focused on the Health All Party Group. We've written to Matt Hancock about the importance of PPE, and also I chair the Disability All Party Group, so we've written to the Prime Minister to ensure that he supports a disability inclusive COVID-19 response. So that's garnered lots of support across the House, and that letter itself has just under 100 signatories. So we've been working hard on a real cross-party basis and coming together, and I think perhaps the pandemic is lending itself to that. People want to work jointly for the good of constituents right across the UK.
No, that's great. That's good to hear. And again, that's something which I think can sometimes get lost in normal times in the heat and light of the party politics, isn't it? So that's interesting. You've talked about quite a few of the innovations that are happening. Just wonder, are there other innovations you hope that will get introduced to deal with these restrictions? Are there some of these things you'd like to keep, you think,
I mean, I think it gives added flexibility. So whilst I like being in and out of the chamber and going into debates, even if I'm not perhaps speaking in them, and being able to contribute. And I think definitely being there in person means that you can do that more so. Even Prime Minister's questions is a lot quieter now. And if you don't have a question, you can feel a bit removed from it. So so I like being there and virtual. I think the virtual stuff is helpful if you're perhaps off sick or if someone's on maternity leave, etc. I think these things could be incorporated, but I wouldn't like to see it replace being there in the House of Commons, in the chamber, etc. Because I think that there's added value in the actual interchanges within the debates, as well as people just speaking. You're not able to question anything anyone's saying when all the proceedings are virtual.
Yes, it's interesting. We've heard that in several of these conversations now. We've heard it's that sort of immediacy and the give and take that people have missed. It's interesting. I think people also said sometimes the emotion is not there. Although I think you followed, by the sound of it, quite a emotional intervention in the domestic abuse bill. So I suppose there is still space for that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really poignant. The speaker before myself was speaking about his experience of growing up in a household where there was domestic violence, and I always think when people are speaking in very emotive terms like that, I think it's helpful to be in the chamber actually, to have the support from people round about right across the House, and to feel that support, and perhaps that individual was speaking in the chamber, and I think that would be helpful. But to be doing that from home without any of that interaction, I think might be quite difficult. So yeah, the emotions perhaps more so in the chamber, and certainly during PMQs there's high emotion, and there doesn't seem to be much of that just now.
No, I know what you mean. I listened in or watched the session earlier this week, and it was certainly a much calmer and drawn out performance from the front benches, wasn't it? I think the speaker even had to suggest they might want to hurry things along a little to allow other questions to be made, but well, we'll see. Yeah. Lisa, thanks very much for your time already today. That's much appreciated. It's really interesting to hear your experiences of how this is as an MP, as a mother, and as someone who's combining all these various things. Thanks for that. Maybe we'll be back in touch in a couple more weeks as these interventions play themselves out. But meanwhile, thanks again, and stay well.
Thank you, and thank you to all the work of CPA as well during this time. It's really valuable, and I know that right across the Commonwealth, they'll find the sessions that are undertaken during this period extremely valuable to their work too. So thank you again.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, we hope so, and yeah, stay in touch. Thanks very much.